your anime legacy and anime lounge, and as promised, I'm gonna do my best to give you my retrospective of Shizuku as a character. Now, as I'm recording this, episode 13 is out, so you got the last little bit of Shizuku. But there's a lot that this episode cut out, and it's one of the reasons, again, like I always say, that I wanted episodes 6 through 8, or rather 6 through 9, to be an OVA. And that's simply because a lot of what we're going to get right now in these next few chapters, and I'll get into that when I do the chapter review, or should say episode review for 13, because as I'm recording this, episode 13 is out, and I'm going to do a review on it. And I've got a few concerns, and I'll get into that in that review. But as for Shizuku, basically, the best way to describe her is, to some degree, if you've seen High School DxD, she's Akino without the RR. In other words, she doesn't have any real sexuality to her or seductiveness to her until we get to this part where she done basically went to rehab and started calling Hajime Dad. And hold on a second, let me turn this light on here. I see it's kind of dark. Yeah. Alright. Here we go. Now, that's not necessarily Shizuku's fault, because as we've been talking about through this arc, Shizuku is kind of a character who basically, she doesn't live for self. She doesn't do anything for herself. And while that can be a good thing, selflessness is always the best way, it can lead to problems in life. And as like we've seen with the episode 11, excuse me, I keep saying chapter, thinking about Solo Leveling right now. It can be a problem. It can be a problem because, like you saw in episode 11, you putting your wants and your needs, aside. Like Shizuku wanted to be the little princess, and because it made everybody else happy for her to be the knight, she kept on doing it. And as you saw in the flashback, the one good flashback in this series that we'll get, at least until, next week when we get Yui's flashback. But again, I'll save talking about that for the review. But as far as Shizuku goes, an argument could be made that the biggest way that all the selflessness that you saw in the series, now probably get into this a little bit more with Koki, because this concerns Koki a little bit more, is basically Shizuku's selflessness allows Koki to put people in danger, because the way the class is structured at the beginning of this series is the three main people in class that control the class are Koki, Shizuku, and Kairi. Now, as you see, when it comes to the dynamic between these three characters, Shizuku looks after Kairi. and kind of pats Koki on the head, said like she did in episode 1 of this season, like, there, Koki, it's okay. Hajime, Hajime is just different than you. Instead of telling him like, no, Hajime is right. We can't just readily do stuff. I personally like Shizuku's analyzation of Hajime and Koki in the uh in the novel, where she compared it to a boxer, where she compared them to like a boxer and a vigilante, kind of, where she said, Hajime didn't get his powers to protect people, or I would say a better analysis is a boxer and a cop. Hajime didn't get his abilities to protect and defend people other than the ones he loves. It's like, yeah, Mike Tyson can defend his loved ones. I mean, if you come up to Mike Tyson and you trying to hurt somebody he cared about, and you don't got a gun, or you can't get him with that knife or whatever, yeah, you about to go to sleep. I mean, his hands are registered as lethal weapons. So if he hits you, if you try to kill him, and you try to kill one of his loved ones, he can just sock you one, and you gonna understand why people call him Iron Mike. That's just real life. But he did not gain his power to do that. He gained his power to be an athlete. But that's more of a Koki thing. But how this affects Arifureta is because of Koki's lack of understanding of the world. He is allowed to be the one to make the decisions for the class when they get into tortures. And he's got the mindset that I'm going to go out, I'm going to be the hero, I'm going to protect everybody, and we're going to fight. And she just goes along with it because she believes it, not really thinking about, how this is going to affect everybody else. Because, like what happened in the anime and in the novel, yeah, it's great when you get power like she got, when you get power like Koki got. But what if you're Hajime before you got into the abyss? And you're just doing what you can to help your classmates. You literally put my life in danger. You put my life in danger because you all want to go play hero. I don't got the ability to go play hero. I had to fall into the abyss, lose an arm, a leg, and an eye, meet a vampire princess, and lose my, V card. After eating monster meat, and come out of the abyss as him to be what I am now. You could have all got me killed. And as the copy said in these last 2 episodes, it was only because of Kairi that realization didn't break Shizuku. The realization that she had, or rather that her classmate had died, and that death was a reality, and that Aiko was right in what she was saying. That, yeah, you all could die. It looks fun, but this is war. And you're fighting for people that you don't even know if they're the good guys or not. I mean, we don't think about that. And this is all because, and we can say, yes, it's on Koki, and yes, it is, but the only other person who could have stood against Koki at the time and stood with Aiko was Shizuku. Now, if you look at class now, Sonobe has risen up and become a class leader. But back then, when decisions was being made, Shizuku was the one that had to make it. And that's where her selflessness, is a hindrance to her in the biggest way that a lot of creators and content creators for Arifureta don't really talk about. It's like, had she sided with Aiko, again, I'm sounding a little repetitive, but had she sided with Aiko, Hajime never would have fell into the abyss. And then when it comes to obviously everything else, like a lot of the stuff that they didn't tell you is that, interestingly enough, that the relationship that we're going to get into further now with Shizuku and Hajime is technically, when you look at the bonus stories, kind of could have happened in Torches. Right? I should say not Torches, on Earth. Had Hajime really done, been able to support her. Because like the Shao Shizuku said in episode 12, they both go through the same situation because of Koki and Kairi. Hajime goes through the situation with Daisuke and Kairi, and obviously it ends up a little bit worse for him. But how than it did for Shizuku. But Shizuku went through the same thing with Koki, and the fact that other girls would bully her because of her relationship with Koki. So, if you read the light novel and some of the stories in it, you read about Shizuku's first encounter with Hajime because she tries to apologize to Hajime because she went through a similar situation with him because of Koki. And basically, when she first meets Hajime, and this is where her observant, and this story is about Shizuku's positive side with her observantness. She at first looks at him like everybody else does. Like, oh, he's rude and kind of aloof and all that. But unlike a lot of other people, she sticks with it and she finally gets him to talk, and because she wants to apologize for Koki, and he basically tells her, like, it doesn't really bother him, and that is the first time that she realizes that, oh, he's strong. He's not being, rude to people. It's just that he can take it. And she's like the first person to really notice Hajime's true strength. Matter of fact, hopefully, if they don't do the crystal key correctly, there will be a flashback where she gets into a debate with the other members of the class and tries to tell them about Hajime's strength. And they kind of dismiss her. This conversation takes place like after Kairi decides that she's gonna go off with Hajime and the crew. So basically, between episode 13 and episode 1 of season 2. And the stuff about her and Kyrie is basically self-explanatory, which is why I call it, calling this, retrospective, without all the auto, because it's basically, again, if you've seen High School DxD, like Akino and Rias, except in this case, Akino doesn't want to compete with Rias over her man. Again, going back to what the copy said in volume 2, volume, I said episode 12, she attacks Shia because Shia just got accepted as Hajime's girlfriend. She knows Kyrie likes Hajime and has liked him since the beginning, even before we came to Torches. So she doesn't want to be in conflict with her best friend over a man. But she doesn't want to fight Yui because, much like we saw, in this end credit scene for episode 13, yeah, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn Yui, she that chick. She that chick, baby. Woo, yes, she that chick. Alright. So, only one person to go after. Sorry, Shia. But all in all, I mean, Shizuku's a solid character, very interesting person. I wish I had like the ability to clip this and do that. And maybe until when I figure out how to do that, I'll wait on Koki for that. Although I know, God, I hate it, but I know that at the very least by episode 16, we gonna get that fight. I hope we don't get the crystal key, but again, I'll save my thoughts on all this for the review. But that's all I have for this one. If you like anything you heard, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.